Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. The WWE's Roast of WrestleMania has leaked online. The Sportster reports that various footage from the show has been leaked by those in attendance. I went looking for the clips. They were pulled down by the time I got to them. But if you circulate the internet long enough, you'll find a 10-minute compilation of clips from the roast. It begins with Paul Heyman, who reportedly was the star of the show, laying into Tony Hinchcliffe and then going after Gabe Iglesias. After Heyman gets done with Iglesias, Triple H shows up. It seems that Triple H cut off Tony Hinchcliffe just as he made a joke about while Logan Paul is allegedly banned from Japan. I don't know what that reference means. Ask someone else. The first thing Triple H says once he's on stage suggests that he came out to stop Tony from saying anything else. Now, you never know, and I haven't seen the clip. Is this a work? Is it a bit? Is that what really happened? Who knows? Triple H then makes some jokes about Nia Jax and Pat McAfee, claiming that he came out to rescue McAfee so he can sober up before appearing on ESPN the next day. Some criticism of the roast said the whole point of a roast is to pick on people who were there so that they can fight back. Jax did the opposite, going after Ric Flair, Cody Rhodes, and Michael Cole, none of whom were in attendance. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on that. Hey, did John Mulaney take my notes? At the beginning of Wednesday's show, there was a chyron that alluded to celebrities not knowing what to do when they're on the show and not knowing what to talk. I thought Mulaney's episode Wednesday was far and away the best that he's done because he went single guest with Conan and they were able to get into a rhythm. I mean, that's the way to do it, and that's what I've been preaching about. Conan comes out, it's just Conan and Mulaney. They have some chemistry, they're doing it. Then Io came out as the second guest. Typical late night talk show dynamics there. Everybody slides down the couch. We all know what to do. We know how to do this. The show worked much better. For the callers, and I'll talk about that in a second, I was wondering if the caller about dinosaurs was staged. If not, it was comedy gold. Regardless, it was comedy gold. Consequence of Sound had somebody in the audience. They thought it was interesting that Mulaney went with cue cards rather than a teleprompter. Consequence adds, it's pretty staggering to see an hour's worth of handwritten cards stacked together. It's much bulkier than you'd expect. The cue card team filed into the studio at around 6:55 p.m. Pacific time. As we know, the show starts at 7 o'clock. Richard Kind took his position with 45 seconds to go. Consequence of Sound writes, the applause sign works hard all night. They write, sometimes, of course, an audience applauds because they want to, but when filming live TV, you might need to nudge them a bit, say with a light-up sign that flashes when the production team wants claps. What struck me most was that the applause sign flashed in what they felt like was a very planned way, and other times was operating when it seemed like it wanted to. That is not uncommon for an applause sign. I remember seeing Letterman. Ooh, this is 40 years ago? Yeah, it's 40 years ago. Oh, wow. I remember seeing Letterman. They had an applause sign back then. The caller I alluded to before, Dr. Jack Horner, who called in about the dinosaurs, was actually the technical advisor on the first 5 Jurassic Park movies. Consequence of Sound tells us the band Mets were so loud that they gave everyone earplugs. Consequence writes, I've been to many studio tapings before, but being handed earplugs before the show was a new one for me. And even sitting in the back row is grateful for them. We found out why Rita Moreno didn't make her appearance. She has vertigo. A spokesperson told Entertainment Weekly, happy to report nothing serious. She's bummed. Variety caught up with Pete Davidson. The topic, tattoos. What made you decide to remove those tattoos, Pete? Pete said, I started during COVID in 2020, and it's going to take me another 10 years. My arms are pretty much gone, and my hands and neck are gone, but I still have my torso and back. It was really because I wasn't taking care of myself. I used to be a drug addict, and I was a sad person. I felt ugly, and that I needed to be covered up. And I don't think there's anything wrong with tattoos, but mine, when I look at them, I remember a sad person that was very unsure. So I'm just removing them and starting fresh because I think that's what works best for me and my brain. When I look in the mirror, I don't want the reminder of, oh yeah, you were a drug addict. Like, that's why you have SpongeBob smoking a joint on your back. They should have meaning. Not that I was just high watching Game of Thrones. Pete explains it's a 6-week healing process each time you get a tattoo removed. Each tattoo is 10 to 12 sessions. That's 60 weeks of your life right there on just one tattoo to remove. So it's pretty horrible. It's like putting your arm on a grill and burning off a layer, and then you got to do maintenance and let it heal properly. And it's pretty tough. It sucks, I'm not going to lie. They were curious how much money this is costing Pete Davidson. He says it's a pretty uncomfortable amount of money to disclose, but I think one of the tabloids leaked it. I've already spent like $200,000 and I'm like 30% done. So it's going to suck. Variety asked about the ferry that Pete bought with Colin Jost. What's going on with that? Pete says, we have 1 floor done out of the 4, and we're holding events on the first floor, and we're partnering with a bunch of people to get our plan going, which is kind of a secret, but we're going to have a couple restaurants, a nice bar, and we're going to maintain the integrity of the ferry and have the old ferry stuff still be there, just be a little refurbished. People don't understand. This is like a 5 to 10 year project. People are like, I guess nothing's happening with it. We don't know anything about boats, so we're figuring it all out. It's been really fun. We're having a good time, and it's at a good place, and we have a couple of fun events planned for the summer. Brett Goldstein's special came out on HBO last night. He spoke to the LA Times. He explained he's been doing a version of this show, building off bits from the 2018 Fringe show. He toured it for 14 months around the States. Then at some point, someone said, you have to film this and stop doing it. And I said, okay. I think stand-up keeps your brain sharp in a way that nothing else does because you have so much pressure when you're standing under the lights in front of a crowd. You have to come up with something in a way that you don't when you're in a writer's room. What I really love is that there's no committee. I don't have to discuss it with anyone. It's amazing making TV and film, but it's a huge thing that involves 200 people, and you have to communicate everything to everyone. You have to compromise and deal with execs. And when you do stand-up, it's like, hey, here's this idea I thought of this afternoon, and I'm saying it tonight. Kamau Bell visited Castlemont High School in Oakland. Fresh off his win on Celebrity Jeopardy! Bell announced that the recipient of the $1 million charity prize goes to Donor's Choice. They are a fundraising platform similar to GoFundMe that teachers use to purchase stuff for their classrooms. Bell said, I feel like I was raised here in Oakland, California, so I hope it helps you. Brad Williams was at the NFL draft. He pitched the commissioner on an idea to stop the tush push. You know, the tush push, we all go up to the line, and we, meaning the Philadelphia Eagles, and they all run forward and they get the first down like every time. Brad Williams, who, if you don't know, is a little person, told Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, obviously, one of the big hot topics over the season is the tush push, the brotherly shove. Williams asked Goodell, my question is, the late football coach Mike Leach, it was recently discovered that he had suggested putting a little person in the backfield and actually tossing him over the line for short yardage situations. Everybody laughed. Goodell stood up and shook Brad's hand and said, you're in. Brad said, I have a job. But you know what? That's not a crazy idea. I mean, it's a crazy idea, but it would work. First down. Joe Rogan was happy with his meal. It was fresh elk. He had fried it. He topped the elk with some fresh cheddar and some jalapenos. He went on Instagram to show it off. Joe said, one of my new favorite ways to cook elk, sliced about half an inch thin, seasoned, fried in beef tallow with a slice of cheddar on top and sliced jalapeno perfection. Rogan's fans chimed in on social media. One wrote, this is nice. I cooked venison like this a while back. I folded strips of venison with cream cheese and jalapenos, and some I additionally wrapped in turkey bacon. Oh, man. Another wrote, meat and cheese just go so well together. The jalapenos would probably take it to the next level. And that is your comedy news for today on a Sunday. See you here tomorrow.